puncher here, has double the fights of Katie Taylor, and is more in her prime. That's my opinion. We're both entitled to it. That's why we both put $1 million on the line.
Are you concerned about the judging because Kate has run a few close decisions in the past?
No. I think there will be a clear winner in this fight.
The ladies got all the motivation that they need, but Serrano, I think she got just a little bit more because she's trying to get revenge after Katie Taylor beat her sister. You think that she's trying to get the family revenge?
Well, for sure, and you know that how that plays into my story as well. Where wanting to take out KSI one day. So, I think Amanda has a bigger chip on her shoulder just in general because Katie's gotten these big paydays. She's gotten to headline events, and so Amanda definitely wants to prove herself on Saturday night.
Think Rob Aaron will be watching on Saturday night?
Who cares? Fuck that guy.
Hey Jake, if Serrano wins, what's the next best thing for her after this?
I think that's up to her and what she wants to do with her coach Jordan and Most Valuable Promotions. We're just gonna help her do and accomplish whatever's next. But I think this, is leading up to one of the biggest events of the year. I mean, look at all these cameras. This is insane. And so, bigger paydays is what's next for Amanda and Katie, regardless of the outcome.
Jake, what's it like being not a fighter and being a promoter instead? Is it different for you?
It's cool. Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I guess I grew up doing marketing, grew up promoting myself and promoting my brand, so it kind of just fits in line with all of that.
Eddie, when you said the half the ticket sales,
it was yours or your trainer's. DAZN Boxing was tagged, but would you be exploring working with Eddie or DAZN in the future for when you fight professionally?
Yeah, there's conversations happening. We're talking to a bunch of different people, but love DAZN, love Eddie. So yeah, we're having conversations.
And if I lose the bet, I might have to use it in credit services.
So Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul on DAZN.
Maybe.
John Fury's accepted your challenge.
Say it again.
John Fury's accepted your challenge this morning. He said he'll fight you.
I would rather fight him than Tommy, or both in the same night. Tommy's a 1 or 2 round fight for me, and John Fury's a half round fight for me. So we can make that happen in 3 rounds or less, and I go home early night. But there are a bunch of jokers over there.
Eddie, you mentioned the ticket sales from the UK and Ireland. Were you surprised that it was getting that much?
I was, because I only found out today. It's like something like 40% travelling from Ireland and the UK, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a lot of Puerto Ricans in there as well. You're going to have a load of Irish. The atmosphere is going to be brilliant. You want that. You want that partisan crowd. You want both sides. And honestly, the atmosphere is going to be incredible. The undercard for this fight is absolutely brilliant, and that is so important for a historic night, especially at the Garden. So by the time that main event comes in, you're going to see an incredible night of boxing already, and I think the main event can only be a thriller.
I know you said that the focus is on Saturday, but if you think that how many have travelled, would it make sense to do a rematch in Ireland?
Oh, look, rematch at Croke Park in front of 60 or 70,000 would be incredible, but let's get the first one out of the way. I think it can only be a great fight. I think these two need each other, to earn this kind of payday, and they appreciate that. The first one's a cracker, and maybe we'll talk and do 2 or 3.
Eddie, is there a reason you were a little bit hesitant to shake Jake's hand up on stage after the bet was he tried to propose the bet?
He's got a lot more money than me. Not really. I was like, I don't like to take away from the limelight, but at the same time, he sort of tested my ego a little bit. So I was like, I didn't really want to do the bet, but then I was kind of had to. And
it started off at $500,000.
You're the one that made it $1 million.
Okay, can we go back to $500,000? but he was talking about his jewellery. I had a bit of banter, and then it got a bit out of control. But it is what it is now. I can't back down. So
Eddie, you said it was 10 grand, didn't you?
What's that?
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
It's a bit more than that.
It was a good. That was a good.
Mine's a little bit more low key than this.
But what is jewelry and the other half in the cash.
Paddock, nice.
Jake, how are you going to get paid if his fighter wins? $500,000 in jewelry and half in cash?
I'll just send a wire.
Yeah. So the jewelry, you're holding onto the jewelry?
Yeah, why not?
Jake,
We'll figure it out.
Jake, what do you think about McGregor's weight gain and his thoughts about fighting?
Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less about him, man. I don't know. He's a loser.
During the Bisping rumors, there was talk about it actually being staged in Canada. What are your thoughts on maybe having a fight, not in Edmonton, of course, but maybe on like a big stage like a Scotiabank Arena?
Well, first of all, he couldn't prove that he was out of his UFC contract, which means he's not. and that's how a lot of these fighters are. They finish their career retired with 2 or 3 fights left under their UFC contract, so probably wouldn't even be able to make that fight happen, and he didn't do what he needed to do to prove to make that fight happen.
What about the general scheme, though, fighting in Canada? Is that something that you'd be interested in?
Yeah, look, I like Canada. Canada's cool, you know. Canada's a vibe.
Hey, Eddie, KSI still possible or not?
Nah, he's got to go fight somebody.
Eddie,
Not really a thing.
Sorry, Eddie. We have Joshua versus Usyk coming up. Canelo versus Bivol. If Canelo wins, and we have Canelo versus Triple G. But do you believe that Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano is the biggest fight in the world?
In different reasons. You know, some fights generate more money. Some fights can sell more tickets, but this is groundbreaking. Like, I've not seen this kind of attention, this kind of type of media here for this. So when you talk about how big, what determines how big? And for me, how big is something that creates history and a legacy. And in terms of this fight, I don't think there's a fight that I've done that will be remembered as long as this one.
Jake, you mentioned about the women needing to show up and show support. That was something that's very famously happened at Ronda Rousey fights. Do you think we'll see a lot of women in attendance on Saturday or watching at home?
For sure, you know, and I even see it with my fans. I see what they're saying, and I have a lot of female audience, and they're all buzzing about this more so than the men's fights. And they're coming to support in person and buying the pay-per-view. So it's really good to see that. My mom's, you know, flown out here and is more excited than even almost my fight. She loves Amanda, so it's really cool to see the support that this is getting. And yeah, like I said, the women need to support each other on this because this is going to be a big step forward for women's sport in general.
Hey Jake, I've got a chance to cover a lot of your fights, and you're always like really excited, but you seem even more excited about this fight. Do you kind of see yourself just saying, you know, forget boxing, just doing promoter, you know, sometime soon?
No, I still have a long way to go, a long road in my own boxing career, a lot to prove. He says I can't become a world champion, and I'm going to become a world champion. So a couple fights, you know, 7, 8 more fights left. But yeah, I'm more excited for this than my own fights because of how groundbreaking this is, how historic this is. And it's my first time as a promoter, so it's a new experience and it's pretty fun.
Eddie, your reaction to Jake saying he will become a world champion?
Everyone's entitled to have a dream. No, seriously, I'm being serious. I think there's absolutely no way he can beat a world champion and become world champion. But I will say he's improving a lot. He's dedicated to the sport. I don't know how good he is because he hasn't really faced a real fighter yet. It's not his fault. He signed to fight Tommy Fury.
Well, a 5-time world champion in Tyron Woodley's a real fighter.
Mate, he's not a real boxer. He's not, Jake.
Well, I mean, the first skill in MMA is boxing. He won the UFC championship with a right hand.
He's a great UFC
But
fighter.
you consider Tommy Fury a real boxer?
Yes, but I'm not in terms of ability. But listen. But
so what defines a real boxer?
A real boxer is someone
that
is his
journeymen
craft.
like Andy Bishop who have.
Who's Andy Bishop?
Exactly, but he's a real boxer, right?
Yeah,
because anyone can go and get a professional boxing
but what I'm saying
license.
is Usman does not qualify to give you any right to talk about you fighting for a world title, and nor does Tommy Fury actually. But I'll give you the props, I'll give you the respect. You're improving all the time, but the proof will be in the pudding. I don't believe. By the way, I've said that I think Jake Paul is better than some fighters, but I don't believe you will ever get close to being a world-class fighter.
Eddie, I believe that I would beat anybody on your roster that's under 10 fights. Anyone.
We can do that.
Any one of your fighters that has under 10 fights. Easy.
Okay.
So
At cruiserweight?
Cruiserweight?
Literally any weight.
Okay, so
any weight,
anyone under 10.
Any weight.
Perfect.
I will beat anybody on your roster.
I've got about 400 of them.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Let's run it up.
Chef
no
Clark.
No problem.
Chef
Give me your best real boxer.
Okay. Chef Clark.
Give me your best real boxer.
Chef Clark, 1-0, right? Boxed in the Olympics, didn't medal. 1-0, just had one professional fight. He's a cruiserweight. You can have him, and I'll tell you what, I'll even provide him. Well, actually, let me be careful.
I don't know.
No, but I'm saying, I've got 5.
Let's do it. No problem. Okay. I already said I'm down. We're betting $1 million. I'm taking on anyone on your roster with under 10 fights. No problem. And that's right now too. Just wait to
anytime.
Just give me a couple of years, bro. Ooh, I'm coming for your boy Canelo.
Yeah,
I'm coming for your boy Canelo. That's on God.
Look, I don't think he minds that fight.
He didn't say no.
No, no.
Canelo didn't say no to a fight with him.
Well, why would he not? That's the biggest. That's one of the biggest fights in boxing that can be made.
Payday.
Eddie, Eddie, what was your reaction when Amanda Serrano presented the 3-minute rounds at the announcement press conference?
I thought it was a smart move. I feel like that the fight had been negotiated, and I don't think we need to change anything, but I think in the future, when we look at the elite end of women's boxing, I think it's something we have to look at. But when you introduce a new concept, which was women's boxing, to the fans, something fast-paced is actually good, and I think it's provided a lot of entertainment. But I think we need to continue to evolve.
Eddie, when this was announced, I think it was meant to be on the undercard of Dillian White against Alexander Povetkin in your back garden. Now we have it Madison Square Garden, the main event. You've got a co-main event worthy of being a main event in itself. Does that just come on? Does that show just how far women's boxing's come along?
Yeah, that's a mixture of how far women's boxing have come. That's a mixture of what these girls have given and how their profiles has raised. That's a mixture of Jake and MVP's involvement as well. The way DAZN have been pushing women's boxing, the evolvement of the last 6 years that we've worked towards this kind of moment. And it's very, very proud. You know, it's very proud to see these girls get a chance to shine on this kind of stage.
Jake, question, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eddie, with Clarissa Shields, where would she be in the making with these two fights? I know you mentioned Katie.
Yeah, she's a great fighter. She's a great fighter. But
so
you know,
she would drop to number 2, or
I don't know. I don't know about that. But she's a great fighter. But you know, when people talk about other fights for those girls, you know, Clarissa's
where would you rate her?
3.
3 behind who?
Serrano.
Eddie, how about Tony Bellew for James?
Oh, that's a massive fight. Massive fight. He's retired. He's old. You know, he's a former world champion.
Who is he?
Tony Bellew.
Cruiserweight champion.
Cruiserweight, former cruiserweight world champion. He was in Creed. You might know him from there.
Is that that's his claim to fame?
No, his claim to fame was
Creed. He was in the back.
Goodison Park.
He was in the back. He was a janitor in the background of Creed.
Have you actually never heard of Tony Bellew?
I think I have heard that name, but I couldn't put a face to it.
Alexander Usyk.
Okay, guys, that's it.
For the undisputed cruiserweight world championship.
Usyk beat AJ as well.
Lovely.
Jake,
no, I know who Usyk is, of course.
Jake,
you didn't ask me about that. You asked me about Bellew.
Bellew, yeah.
Bellew?
Yeah,
Tony Bellew.
Bellew?
He's a big fan of yours.
This is brilliant.
Eddie!
Jake, we're going to see you at the Canelo fight next week?
No, fuck no.
Why not?
Who the fuck is? Why would anyone want to see it? No one wants to see that fight. No offense to Eddie. Dimitri Bivol, like who? Fight Benavidez. Quit ducking Benavidez. Quit ducking Charlo. Canelo's gonna win. Who the fuck is Bivol? Like, let's go. Let's make it. Yeah, well, of course. That's your job. That's your job to promote him. That's your job to promote him. But I'll probably beat him one day. Just like all these guys. And people think I'm crazy. I am fucking crazy. That's why I'm here. That's why there's 400 cameras on me, because I'm crazy, I'm entertaining, I believe in myself, and I knock people the fuck out. So guess what? Yeah, I'm fucking crazy. I'm gonna beat whoever the fuck is in front of me and gets put into the ring.
What do you think of Jake's Canelo stuck in Charlo and Benavidez?
Listen, Canelo's resume is second to none. Second to none. All he ever does is fight champions. He's a pound for pound number 1.
But not Benavidez.
Yeah, but because who's Benavidez? Who's he beat? Canelo's, all his last fights have been against champion after champion across divisions after divisions. You can't sit here and criticise Canelo Alvarez. He's one of the great
But why isn't he giving the fans the fight that the fans want to see?
Of course he is. He's done that
not
consistently.
Bivol.
This is a great fight. It's a great fight. And I'll even get you a ticket.
Bivol.
Jake, people like to talk about Tommy Fury. Could you let people know how much he cost you in December when you pulled out of that fight financially?
I don't know. I don't really. I didn't keep track of that. You know, like who knows? Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, people weren't as excited for the Tyron fight as they were for the Tommy fight because they had already gotten that product. So yeah, it was hard to change the whole promotion around last minute to Tyron Woodley rematch. But it is what it is. You roll with the punches in boxing and figure it out. And I got a chance to go back at someone who went 8 rounds with me, and I got the chance to go back in and show that I gotten better in that camp, and I got the knockout.
So just finally on the Bivol fight, you don't think it's a good enough fight for Canelo?
It's good. It might be cool competition, but it's like there's bigger fights.
You want to go this way?
Yeah, the fans want to see different shit.
All right, we out this way. Eddie, we coming this way.
Quick shout out to my son. His name's Can. He's a big fan of you.
What's his name?
Can.
Can?
Yeah.
Yo, what up, Can? Shout out to you. Shout out to your dad. Love you, bro.